Supervisors business meeting for March 9th?
What?
March?
November, Bob.
November, what did I say, March?
March.
Wrong on the agenda?
Oh, it's right.
All right.
And also tomorrow is going to be the birthday for the United States Marine Corps, and Thursday will be Veterans Day. We keep them in your thoughts when we have a moment of silence there. So how about the roll call?
Supervisor Reynolds.
Here.
Supervisor Garlick Lorenzetti.
Here.
Supervisor Brownell.
Here.
Supervisor Barnhart.
Here.
Supervisor Borst.
Here.
Supervisor Hayes. Supervisor Ferrara.
Here.
Supervisor Cronewetter. Supervisor Lott. Supervisor McGreevy.
Here.
Supervisor Heisen.
Here.
Supervisor Trout.
Here.
Supervisor Clear.
Here.
Supervisor Enslow.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good, thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay, please be seated. Next up is presentations, which we don't have any scheduled for tonight. We don't have any petitioners. Now, next up is open privilege of the floor, and I would turn it over to our assemblyman, not my assemblyman, but anyway, yes, you are my assemblyman. That's right. He's the border right there. Jeff Gallahan, do you want to come up here in the microphone and speak if you want to?
Where's your mic? Over here. Okay.
Dead center.
I can take my mask
I
off.
didn't recognize you without your blue jeans on, you know.
I clean up okay.
That's good.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's certainly a pleasure to be here tonight. I've been at several of the town meetings and spent some time there trying to learn a lot more about what's going on in Seneca County, and I can tell you there's a lot more going on than I had ever anticipated. It's great to be here tonight, and especially what happened yesterday, because the governor signed my first bill, and my first bill was for Seneca County. It was June 10th at 2:30 a.m. that the bill went through. So it was at the end of session, and Governor Hochul signed it yesterday. It will be in force, and I'm very proud of representing Seneca County with the bill, and I'm sure that it will be much beneficial to you guys moving forward, and I'm very happy with that. I don't want to take up too much time here. So I just want to say thank you for all that you all do here in Seneca County, and it is truly an honor and a privilege to represent the people here in the county. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Jeff? You want to take any questions?
Sure, I'll take a question. Yeah, you bet.
Any? Maybe you don't have any, but.
What, can you tell me what the bill was about?
Yes, the bill was a sales tax bill, and it came from, actually, we actually talked about the same thing in Ontario County when I was a supervisor there. And the tax on for tourism is exceeding the budget, and they want to direct some of that over to infrastructure, and so they're going to take a percentage of that and move it over to infrastructure.
So the monies from tourism can be recaptured for like pipes, roads, broadband, infrastructure for
Yes,
counties.
correct.
Perfect. Thank
Yes.
you. Okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that.
Other questions?
Any other questions?
Okay.
This is an easy crowd. Thank you.
Easy.
Easy crowd.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Next up, anybody else would like to address the board? Okay, Shannon?
Hi, my name is Shannon O'Connor, and I'm here tonight as a trustee for the Friends of the Three Bears. As you know, we're an all-volunteer group that oversee the restoration, the renovation, and utilization of the Seneca County Courthouse Complex located in the village of Ovid. These are county-owned buildings that we have volunteered to take care of. And these are county-owned buildings that have been listed on the National Registry since 1976. This past year, an all-volunteer force launched an effort to open the Mama Bear tourism site, and we opened the Papa Bear Cultural Center. We saw 1,500 people attend cultural events in the village of Ovid. We also had about 300 people visit the Mama Bear tourism site, many of which then took a tour of Papa Bear, the 1845 historic courthouse. Our board of directors for the Friends of the Three Bears, 5 of us are here tonight. Actually 6 of us, half the board is here this evening. We are here because we are not new to tourism. We're not new to economic development within the county. Our board is represented of Airbnb or B&B owners, beverage industry people. We have educators. We have the village mayors on our boards. And we are very interested in seeing the promotion of tourism, particularly within the southern end of the county. The village of Ovid serves as the gateway to Seneca County from the south end. We sit along Route 414, the Seneca County Wine Trail. A lot of people stop at that village park. They use the park for picnics, their kids play, dogs walk around. We also have one of the only public facilities that the volunteers maintain, those restrooms, and people stop into the local businesses down there in Ovid. Contrary to popular belief, I have to tell you, a lot of visitors reach Seneca County through the Southern Gateway. We get a lot of visitors from the Eastern Seaboard, from Washington, D.C., from Philadelphia, from New York City, and their only connection with Seneca County is the southern end. A lot of these people are staying in B&Bs and hotels in the 2 adjacent counties to the south of Seneca. I live in the town of Ovid. I operate a farm and cidery in the town of Ovid. For the past 8 years, I've talked to numerous people who, they only come to the southern part because they're looking for the wineries, they're looking for the cheese producers, to access the lakes, do some history tours, and they have no knowledge of even northern end of the county. If you go onto Airbnb and you book an Airbnb in the hamlet of Willard or in the town of Ovid, you're gonna receive emails directing you to places to visit, places to eat, where to go, things to do, and they're all in Ithaca. They're all in Tompkins County. And so to me, I can see that southern Seneca County really needs a boost in promotion of tourism for our area. Seneca County has designated the Seneca County Chamber of Commerce to be the TPA, the Tourism Promotion Agency. And in the 2021 budget, they received $359,000 for their annual operating budget. This year, from what I understand, there has been a record number of the hotel motel tax taken in Seneca County. And so for the 2022 budget year, the amount of tax taken in has increased to $568,000. I know there's going to be a proposition before the board to consider taking the TPA from a 90% allocation level from the tax to a 75% allocation of the tax. That 75% allocation with the increased hotel motel tax revenue equates to a 32% increase for Seneca County's TPA. So the chamber will receive 32% more in income for 2022 over 2021. That is great. For any organization to receive a 32% increase is fantastic. For an organization to receive that, especially when we've had 2 years of an economy affected by a pandemic, is really good. The Friends of the Three Bears have come to the board to ask for what amounts to less than 14% of the hotel motel tax. And what we would like to do is hire a full-time, year-round person to oversee the operations at the historic complex. Currently, it's all volunteers. If we could have one designated person, think of what we could actually accomplish beyond what we've done this year with all volunteers. A portion of the money we're asking for will also pay for a couple youth docents to run museum tours during the summer. We want to give the youth in the county an opportunity not only to have a job, to engage in public speaking, but also to feel a connection with their community. The Friends of the Three Bears have been very impressed with this Board of Supervisors for the work you've done to restore these buildings in conjunction with us. We've been impressed with the work moving forwards to try to make these buildings accessible for all members of the community. And we're hoping tonight you'll consider helping us in moving forwards in the promotion of tourism for Southern Seneca County. Thank you.
Any questions for Shannon? Shannon, I think somebody from the Three Bears should ask to be on the skate cop board. You know, that'd be a good spot to start get your voice heard on the SKCAP board.
Agreed.
Sharon, have you ever, is anybody from the Three Bears, it's me,
Okay.
anybody from the Three Bears sat down with the Seneca County Chamber of Commerce to incorporate that historical area into tourism?
Well, something I forgot to mention was the president of our board, Phyllis Motil, who's a founding member of the Friends, actually worked for Seneca County as the tourism office for 6 years, and then she did an additional 5 years working with the Chamber of Commerce. She asked the chamber to set up an office in Papa Bear so that there would be representation at the lower end of the county and get to know the businesses in that area. And to date, that has not been followed through on.
And how long, when was that request made?
When was the request?
Was it made?
Yeah.
It's been made several times for the past 20 years.
How recent? I'm asking, I'm not necessarily saying an office in the Three Bears. I'm just saying, how recent has there been communication with Bruce Murray or Jeff Shipley? Recently or no? Okay, thank you.
They've been aware of everything that we're doing. And when I spoke with Jeff about us opening a tourism information center, the only thing he gave us was the computer. And that was like pulling teeth to get it because we thought we were taking $1 million away from him. But anyway, that's all we got.
Thank you.
No questions? Okay, thank you. Anybody else would like to address the board? Oh, wait,
Wait a minute, this lady.
I recognize this lady first.
Yeah.
Kathy,
She
would
got
you
it.
like to defer to me on this opportunity? Would you like to defer to me?
I guess I can go leave now. Somebody else is running the show. Okay, Jeff, welcome.
Thank you. So I am not here to disparage the Three Bears. I mean, that was truly sad to hear that that's the perception. I will say a couple things. Not only did we provide the Three Bears with a computer, we have also provided them with brochure racks and a full collection of travel guides. And we also are paying for their internet service, not their internet service, their Microsoft Office software. We have done that for the last 1.5 years, I believe now. So one of the things when Phyllis reached out to me and asked about a tourism office requires staff. It requires an internet connection because more and more what we are doing is digital, and they had neither at the time that she reached out to me. And so I would like to point that out. I also have a couple numbers that I came with. Our Petro Information Center, which is the county's main tourism visitor center, in 2019 saw just over 41,000 visitors. I think you heard from the representative from the Three Bears, they saw just over 800. In 2021, we have seen just over 16,000 to date. Also traffic counts. The reason why we believe that visitor center in Petro is such a valuable area is because there are over 13,000 trips combined, taken average daily traffic count by the New York State DOT that goes through there regularly. That is combined with the Three Bears to Lodi at just over 2,500. That's from the New York State Department of Transportation. Again, this is not to disparage Three Bears. It is a very important asset for our tourism community. We feature them widely. It is in our visitor guide. It is on our website. It has been the subject of numerous social media posts. That being said, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the time and the opportunity to be here. I am here tonight to urge this legislative body to keep the Tourism Promotion Agency funded at its current 90% level of occupancy tax revenues. As you are well aware, tourism is a vital industry to our local economy. Reducing this critical funding will have long-lasting negative impacts. I've previously come before this board to illustrate our county's numerous tourism achievements. These successes were the result of bilateral collaboration between the County Board of Supervisors and its TPA. Together, we have made strategic investments that launched a new digital presence for Seneca County tourism. Traffic to our new tourism website, discoverseneca.com, has grown by over 231% from previous years. It's resulted in more than 160,000 page sessions this year alone. We invested in market research, a first of its kind project for our county that has equipped us with information about the most visited places in our community, where people are coming from, how long they stay, what their demographic profile looks like. This research has been integral to our advertising efforts and has given us the ability to market to target audiences. Also, I want to add, the research has been made available to all tourism properties in the county, and we did supply that to information to Three Bears. We've also joined the digital marketing universe. Our 2020 campaign was a first of its kind, helped spur record growth in the midst of a global pandemic. Our 2021 campaign has produced over 2.1 million impressions to date, directing these people to our county and converting many of them into first-time visitors to Seneca County tourism properties, many from Philadelphia and New York City. We created an award-winning brochure, Best in New York State, for the second time in 6 years, that showcases our entire tourism community and highlighted the 100th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment and Seneca County's historical significance. These were just some of the ways that we invested occupancy tax revenues for tourism promotion efforts. With increased revenues came new opportunities, and we were poised to capitalize on them. The results are clear. 2021 saw record occupancy tax receipts and record sales tax receipts. More people exposed to our community means more people coming to the community, means more people spending money in our community. It's a cycle of life that most assuredly helps every tourism business in this county. In 2022, competition to retain and grow this market share will be the fiercest in history, as record amounts of investment are being committed by our neighboring communities, our neighboring counties. Failure to keep pace will set our momentum back considerably. I've provided this board with a line-by-line description of how 90% of the occupancy tax funds will be utilized in 2022. This spending plan has been reviewed by both the Seneca County Advisory Committee on Tourism, SCACOT, and a separate committee of local tourism business leaders. Their consensus is that this approach offers the biggest return on investment for the county's tourism growth. Please consider this when you cast your vote tonight. I hope that before you make up your mind, you will fully understand how any monies that are not allocated for TPA promotional uses are being spent, and what will be the return on investment realized from these expenditures. I hope you will also consider the opportunity cost of Seneca County falling farther behind neighboring communities and marketing programs designed to bring in overnight visitation. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Hello?
Hi, my name is Kathy Peters, and I live in Waterloo for 50 years now, so I'm still a newbie. I'm a retired educator who around 3 years ago became a part-time employee for the Seneca County Chamber of Commerce. By the way, Jeff doesn't know what I wrote, so I did this yesterday. I've been thinking about it for some time, though. I regularly work weekends at Petro near the New York State Thruway in a kiosk area sponsored by the Seneca County Chamber with a wall of brochures on the Finger Lakes. If you have never seen us, you need to stop by. There are 4 of us who work part-time, 5 to 6 hours a day. There's only one person each day, though. 7 days a week. We ask visitors where they are from and where they have been or where they're going. This information is recorded and put on an Excel program where statistics give the chamber ideas to help promote Seneca County. We meet people from every state in this country, including Hawaii and Alaska, plus visitors from Canada, Europe, South America, Central America, Australia, Africa, and Asia. Yes, from all over the world. I was shocked too.
I must admit that most of them are visiting New York City and Niagara Falls, but stop at Petro for food or restrooms. But this is a time I can ask if they've ever been to the Finger Lakes. Most people don't know about us, but once I share our geography, history, and craft drinks, they are interested. Then I give them a couple of magazines on Seneca County that were done by the Chamber to look at and ask them to come back someday and visit us. On the other hand, I am amazed how many people say they recently discovered the Finger Lakes and love this area. I feel this way too. I wrote a letter to the editor about 10 years ago. I've traveled 50 countries, been in every continent except for Antarctica, and this area is superb in the world. Also, people are so fascinated with our connection to It's a Wonderful Life and the women's rights history in Seneca Falls. The Chamber does a magnificent job in providing information on Seneca County daily at Petro. It also has an information booth at the Cycle Erie Bike Tour in July and Samson Dog Show in October, where thousands of bikers and visitors spend 1 to 4 nights in our area. I recently spoke to one of our supervisors who told me the Chamber has not presented a written budget to you. I contacted the Chamber to discover that their budget had been sent twice via email to each of you, once from the Chamber and once from the county manager. Also mentioned to me was a lack of strategy or vision, which is not true. There is a strategic 5-year program on their website, which began in 2020. I'm wondering how many of you have been on the Chamber's website. It is wonderfully done and organized to talk about Seneca County. There are areas for 1, Finger Lakes wine, which was noted in USA Today as one of the 10 best in this country. 2, Del Lago Resort and Casino. 3, birthplace of women's rights. 4, Seneca and Cuga Lakes with 72 miles of shoreline and 6.6 trillion gallons of fresh water. 5, Finger Lakes Vacation Rentals. 6, iconic eateries in Seneca County. 7, Waterloo Premium Outlets. 8, upcoming events. 9, Our Towns, which you are all representing. 10, hotels and lodgings. 11, wine and food. 12, perfect pints. And most importantly, 13, doing business here. Our chamber brings a welcoming hand and supports businesses. These businesses purchase housing, buy groceries, etc. Business bring in tax dollars to help support our many local governments. Do you know that our chamber can help small businesses recover up to $50,000 to those who lost money because of COVID? This is through the New York State Small Business Recovery Grants Program. Have you seen in the newspapers, online, or attended a monthly ribbon cutting sponsored by the chamber every month? This is from their website, quote, "For more than 50 years, the Seneca County Chamber of Commerce has been a positive force in the communities that it serves. Through its advocacy efforts on behalf of business-friendly public policy, professional resources for business, tourism, and promotional services, and its leadership in the areas of economic and environmental sustainability. The Chamber works daily to enhance both the community and its quality of life. They recognize the importance of having a diverse network and the strength that exists in joining with others to advance a common cause," end of quote. Therefore, our chamber needs your financial support. Please rethink all of this, take a good look at their website, and possibly delay a vote at this time. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Yes,
Okay,
not.
thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to address the board? Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you, Chairman Heisen. Chairman Heisen, members of the Board of Supervisors, County Manager Rowe, county staff. My name is Bruce Murray. I am with my wife, Diana Little, owner of Boundary Breaks Vineyard in Lodi. We are located just north of Lodi Point State Park. I am also, for the record, a member of the chamber. I'm also, for the record, currently the board chair of the chamber. That term ends at the end of this year. I'll stay on as a member of the chamber because I think it does good work, but I'm not here as a representative of the chamber tonight. I just want to make that clear. I'm here as a representative of the tourism industry in Seneca County. You've heard it, but I don't know if you feel it quite the way we do, but tourism is one of the healthiest economic sectors in the county right now. In the winery industry, which I'm part of, 2020 was the strongest year since the industry's inception in the mid to late 70s. It really was. Strangely, because COVID caused people to want to get in their car and not on a plane. So we saw people from places that we had never seen them before, and they were here, many of them for the first time. I'm like Kathy Peters, I'm the one that talks to them when they come in. And I say this, ask the same questions. Where did you come from? Why did you get, how did you get here? Have you heard of us? It was a very strong year in 2020. So many of us thought, well, is that just a one-time event? Are we gonna see a similar kind of follow through in 2021? Many of us have seen a better year in 2021 than we saw in 2020. Maybe there's word of mouth, maybe still the same issues are driving the business, but it's very strong and it's really good at the moment. And I actually think if it really is a 3-year decision, 3 years is a long time. Whatever the number is, 3 years is a long time for that number. Here's what I would do, for the record. I would treat tourism as an economic driver, and in a serious way, figure how far can you push it to hit a high water mark. We are not at a high water mark yet, I think, in the tourism sector. We have time to see how to hit it, that high water mark. Let's try to hit the high water mark. Second, short-term occupancy tax rates, bed tax, that there is a service that helps the county identify places that should be paying taxes and maybe are not paying taxes. It's called host compliance. It's a good, it's exactly the thing the county does to ensure to get the maximum out of its tax-paying businesses. So I would support host compliance. Third, we hear about SCACOT here. I think SCACOT is the place to put teeth in all of this, and I would put SCACOT in the front of the bus to say what should the goals be, and how do we best get there. Personally, after 20 years in the digital media world, the best way to get the best bang for your buck is with digital advertising. Primarily, when someone decides they may visit the Finger Lakes, they Google things to do in the Finger Lakes. They don't see Seneca, visit Seneca County first. It's not on the first page. I would say to the SCACOT committee, spend what we have to spend, do what we have to do, so that when someone Googles what things to do in the Finger Lakes, Seneca County comes up first. There are tons and tons of worthy tourism destinations, but promotion is different than being a destination. Promotion is putting the word out and telling people to come here. And I would not skimp on promotion funding right now. I don't know what the number is I said, but it's an unusual time for us in the industry. I would hate to waste this window of opportunity. The comments I hear are in a packet. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions for Bruce? No? Okay. Phyllis, welcome.
Good evening. You all know me. I've been with the Friends of the Three Bears for 22 years. We started out by taking care of those buildings because we felt that the history involved with those buildings were very important. We are not in competition with the Chamber of Commerce. Our goals are entirely different. We support education and history, and we would like to do this much more than we have been. You have to remember, we've been only opened since the spring of this year, and we have seen 1,800 people 4 days a week only, and that is a minimum of 4 hours in those 4 days. And when we have a visitor, we take care of that person from the minute they step into our mama bear. We ask them where they're from, how they got here, why do they come to visit, what's the purpose of their visit. And we are finding that many, many people are interested in the history of our county. And it is a rich history, and more people should become acquainted with it. You know, a couple of years ago, the Chamber had an excellent idea. They wanted to have a better rapport with the North County and the South County. And they paid for a person to come in and facilitate a gathering of individuals at South Seneca High School and also someplace up north. And their intention was to have this program called Seneca One. And they emphasized that all the way. I don't know what happened to the information that they received from that survey, how they're processing it, I don't know, but many, many times I've been involved with surveys, and the problem is there is no follow-up for the results of that survey. Please remember that Seneca County is an agricultural resource, and South County contributes many miles of agritourism. We are, as I indicated, we are not in competition with the Chamber. Another source we have is the ability to talk directly to many tourists. We've had tourists from Belgium, France, all over the United States, and we try to talk to them, tell them about the history of the area, and then we tell them the other historic places that are in the area, and we give them directions to the wineries. And we have a map in our facility, and we point out all of these things to them. When they visit our center, there is always, always a conversation. Where are you from? What brings you to the Three Bears? How can we help you? We give them a tour, and that includes the Papa Bear and the Mama Bear. And most people are just fascinated with the fact that in Papa Bear, we actually have a courtroom from 1854. And you have to remember that it is such a rarity to be able to come into that building and see what we have there. Most people are very, very surprised. And when they come up the stairs and they look into that courtroom, it's, oh my God, look what we have here. And we are very interested in the history and education of our communities. Our children come to our buildings. We give them some history pertaining to it. They go away and they see the jail. Many times the kids will come and they know that we have a jail in there. And so they want to go to the jail immediately. And I say to them, no, 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 we have to go up to the courtroom to find out if you really belong in the jail. And children, you know, are react to that very nicely. But anyway, you have to remember the Cayuga Wine Trail was the very first wine trail. And I think that when people go to the wineries, they have to be given information pertaining to the terrain and why are wineries so magnificently situated on our lakes. Most people do not do that. They don't tell them that the lakes really help the wineries with their temperature. Well, anyway, we're only asking for a small amount of money to continue our education for our community, not just tourists, but for our community. We are interested in the education of our children, and we have Papa Bear as the cultural center, and we will do classes there, all kinds of things. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we have a emergency preparedness class being conducted in Papa Bear. We have plans for the growth of our communities, and we are very knowledgeable about the needs of our people. And I'm hoping that each one of you can say that you understand your community and you know what their needs are. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Sorry, Mike, this will only take a minute, okay? But you know what they say, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So that's what I'm here tonight to talk about my business. The tourism business has been part of the reason we got into the business we're into today, and it's another reason we're expanding, is because those tourism dollars that have been placed and trusted in the chamber as a tourism arm have been greatly appreciated by all businesses that relate to tourism in this county. So I'm urging you to leave it where it is. And I do believe that over time, as we've heard from the county manager, sales tax have increased all the way across the board. So I do think there will be enough funding to go around for, and you can't argue with any of these presentations tonight, but it takes time to get there. So I say we stay the course and let's just see where it takes us, but follow the leadership that is given. Any questions? Good.
To the point.
Thanks, Tom.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like a bad penny, I keep showing up. For you who don't know who I am, my name is Maureen Young, let's put it that way. I was the tourism director for a number of years, and I understand the figures, I understand the emotions, and I'm not here to say one way or the other, but I have been with dear Phyllis for a lot of years, and we did accomplish a great deal when we were in the tourism office, whether it was with the county or the chamber. Now, I don't need a raise of hands, but I don't know how many of you have been through the Three Bears down in South County, Ovid. When Phyllis and I were working together, Ovid was down there. You mean we have to go all the way down there for a meeting? You're kidding. But it might be dark and it might be snowy and whatever. Ovid exists. Lodi exists. South County exists. And the Three Bears, with these people who have volunteered, key word, no cash, volunteered, especially Phyllis, who has done nothing but live and breathe the Three Bears. They do have a tourism office. They will send the visitors throughout the county. I'm hoping that at Petro at the chamber, there is still included, by the way, we have a South County area too. So I'm just hoping that you will give the Three Bears a second look. And if you haven't been through it, you need to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mo?
Mo with an E. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evenings, Chairman Heisen, Supervisors. My name is August Gillen. Some of you might know me, some may not. I've been involved with Mo and Phyllis back, how many years ago, Mo? 30 years ago. I've been involved in tourism in our county since I moved here in 1980. I've been involved 41 years. Not as much lately, but I'm still a vested, interested party in partial ownership, a silent partner may it be, of the Quality Inn. Our family built the Holiday Inn back in '75. We opened it in April of '75, $12 a night. That's what it was back then. Tourism is important to our county and everyone's job in this county. It should be important, like the governor just recently said, hey, we want to bring visitors back. We want to keep jobs here. We're going to donate, not donate, we're going to invest in tourism-related businesses. I just hope our county can be just as, treat tourism as important as our governor is. It's just an important to our county as an industry with the wineries, everything included. Del Lago, I mean, obviously that was an important piece to bring to the county. I'd be glad to entertain any questions, but I'm all in favor of keeping it at the 90%. It's important, folks. There's plenty of money to do whatever the other things you have that you want to do with. I think it's a record, as far as I know. I'll entertain any questions if anyone has any.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, going once, twice. Okay. Moving on to the next item, which is approval of the minutes, October 12th and October 26th.
So moved.
Motion second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Reports of Standing Committee, Human Services, Supervisor McGreevy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Human Services Committee met on October 26. Tonight, the board will consider two resolutions referred by the Human Services Committee. The first is for a contract with Cayuga Centers for Multisystemic Therapy, MST. MST is an intensive family and community-based treatment for serious juvenile offenders with possible substance abuse issues. The primary goal is to decrease youth criminal behavior and out-of-home placements. The cost of the program is roughly $250,000, of which 81% is the state and federal share, and 19%, or $47,500, is the county share. The second item is proclaiming November as Adoption Month in Seneca County. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up, Planning, Development, Agriculture, and Tourism, Supervisor Barnhart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Planning, Development, Agriculture, and Tourism Committee met earlier this month. I'd like to thank Supervisor Brownell for chairing that committee. We have 4 resolutions in front of this board tonight. The first is reappointments to the Finger Lakes Regional Airport Advisory Committee. There are 6 reappointments for a 3-year term. The second is to approve a gain loan to Miranda Cheese. This is a loan that grows the agricultural industry in Seneca County for the use of purchasing equipment. The third is for the chairman to sign a memorandum of understanding between Seneca County and the local towns and villages regarding what items do not have to be forwarded to the county planning board for review. And the final item for this board to consider is to amend the policy for the annual appropriation of the Tourism Promotion Agency, which is currently proposed to change from 90% to 75%. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Public Health Services, Supervisor Borst.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Public Health Services Committee met October 26th. 3 resolutions on the agenda tonight. Number 1, accept $21,791 from New York State Department of Health Special Healthcare Needs Program grant for October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022. Number 2, accept $719,282 from the New York State Department of Health Corpse Fellowship Program for the period of September 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2023 in the amount of $719,282. Number 3, approve a resolution for an agreement with the S2AY Rural Health Network for inclusion in the fellowship program. And that is it.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Personnel, Supervisor Ferrara.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Personnel Committee met October 26. We have multiple positions to create or fill, 14 in total, 4 positions in mental health clinical therapists, 4 positions for mental health peer advocate, 1 position mental health program director, 1 position for senior caseworker, 1 position for social welfare examiner, a position for fraud investigator, a position for employment and training counselor, and a position for director of preventative health services. Also refilled 2 positions, 1 full-time caseworker for the Human Services Department and 1 full-time cleaner position for the Facilities Department. That's all we have, sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Supervisor Ferrara. Next up, Water and Sewer Treatment Management Operations. Supervisor Borst, are you going to cover?
I'm going to have to grab the cheat sheet. Hold on one second.
We don't have cheat sheets. Come on, man.
Don't sell us out, man.
For that. I don't get any of
You
those
get a cheat sheet, nobody else does.
You don't remember all this stuff?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Apparently Supervisor Hayes gets it. I'm just using his. Water Sewer Treatment Management and Operations Committee met October 26th. On the agenda tonight, several resolutions related to Sewer 1 and Sewer 2 improvements project and bonding of the project. Public hearing scheduled for the bond resolution for Thursday, November 18th at 6 p.m. Pete Baker from BNL met with the committee and reviewed the map and plan for the project. The committee continues to discuss hiring an engineer firm to develop plans for a water and sewer authority. No decision has been made on that. And that is it.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public Safety, Supervisor Burnell.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. On tonight's agenda, there is a resolution to apply for $150,000 in funding for the Hazardous Mitigation Planning Grant. We also have 2 resolutions to accept grant funding, $390,000, $90,201 from the 2020 statewide interoperable communication grant and $17,869 from the 2021 emergency grant, reformers grant. Finally, we have a resolution for a lease for the New York State Police to use the Fire Training Center in Rhymeless as their substation and training facilities. This lease is for 10 years. I have a resolution to introduce under new business, which will allow the RFP to send seeking a vendor for supply paramedics for the jail and the jail population, pharmaceuticals for the jail. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Burnell. Next up, Public Works, Supervisor Trout.
Thank you, Chairman. On tonight's agenda and resolutions, we completed a snow and ice agreement with Fayette. We increased funding for highway snow and ice by $11,171.48. And the most prized resolution of all, the acquisition of the Route 414 sewer line from the IDA using American Rescue Recovery Funds and to pay for the repairs not to exceed $48,000. A good 20 years in the making, I think.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
That's all you got? Good.
That's it.
Thank you, Supervisor Trout. Next up, Mental Health Services, Supervisor Enslow.
Thank you, Chairman. Mental Health Services Committee met on October 26th. For tonight's meeting, the board will consider amending our contract with our certified peer specialist who provides peer support services for individuals with substance use disorder. An increase in hours necessary to satisfy the clinic demand. The Mental Health Services Committee approved an additional 166-hour contract for an additional $2,000. Also, under new business, I hope to introduce a resolution under Rule 29 to accept $56,000 from New York State Office of Addiction Services and Support Grant Program. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much, Supervisor Enslow. Next up, Finance, Assessment, and Insurance, Supervisor Reynolds.
Thank you, Chairman Heisen. The only items on the budget are agenda is an amendment to the budget, and the county manager also reviewed the tentative budget and filed it on October 18th, and we need to schedule a public hearing to adopt that budget. That's all I have.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Supervisor Reynolds. Next up, report of special committees. Anybody have anything to report? Soil and Water, Cooperative Extension, IDA.
Oh, the IDA was hard at it. I had to go back to my truck just to get my little cheat sheet. Thank you. All right. So the IDA met Thursday, November 4th. One of the biggest new policies to come before the board, because the whole meeting was a lot of housekeeping and a lot of contract renewal and a lot of designating policies and modifications and everything else, was the local labor policy for prevailing wage. Loki and Brill will be contracted to ensure that the company follows the new policy. Basically, anything over $5 million, there will be the prevailing wage. With the IDA, as far as I know, has always followed that, and there was some talk to make sure that we stayed local with as much labor as humanly possible, especially with the new solar projects, which we do not foresee that being an actual issue. Local unions are well aware of these new solar projects coming into our area. Other than most of the modifications and everything else, which is a long list, nothing really changed other than that. Everybody that was contracted before is still contracted, and Figure Lakes TV will still live stream all the meetings because that was a new requirement as of last year beyond COVID. Other than that, we did final resolutions on the Lodi project for solar. The Keystone Mills received its final approval, and that's about it. Other than that, the Keystone project, for every $44 spent, or $1 spent, $44 in benefit will sort of benefit the community. So there's a big pie graph for that if you want to get a hold of Sarah, and she'll show you. Other than that, that's it.
At least they know it's in Fayette now and not Romulus.
Yeah.
It took a couple months. Okay, thank you. Okay, chairman's remarks. I'll do the easy one first. We need to get a picture to go up on the wall for this group of supervisors. So we have two nights, November 23rd or December 14th on the board night. Need to have probably a perfect attendance. So when we adopt the budget on the 14th?
Yes.
So we probably should have the picture taken on the 14th then. Anybody object to that? Good. Now the bad news. I guess you've all heard now that Willard is shutting down. And if Jeff would like to add anything to this, that would be your chance.
Well, all I can say is,
You can come up here if you want to. We're going to make you famous now.
Thanks, Bob. So yesterday, the news was 6 correctional facilities will be closing. And in my opinion, and many of my constituents that have reached out to me already, this is irresponsible. The governor should be ashamed of herself for allowing this to happen. And it is going to wreak havoc in the next few years, not only in our counties, not only the joblessness, but the lawlessness that this is going to create. There's absolutely no reason why these facilities should be closing. Granted, they're not at 100%, but these are facilities that have had accolades bestowed upon them, many of them, for the last 3 or 4 years for what they've done to reduce recidivism and create opportunities for these inmates when they leave their facilities. What's happening in our state right now in the court system is totally, it's totally disgusting to me. I fight tooth and nail every day to not allow these things to happen. I don't understand where this is coming from, how this is going to benefit society in any way whatsoever. This is very detrimental to not only our counties, but the entire state. And it's happening on a regular basis. We're fighting tooth and nail in Albany to stop these things from happening. Many things we do stop, but this was announced yesterday. It wasn't announced to anybody in the legislature, any of the legislators. It was just announced, and this type of control, I guess if you want to call it, has got to stop in our state. We've got to win our state back. These laws are I'm at a loss for words, Bob, because this is something that to me is just a huge mistake, and we're going to look back on this in the not too distant future and realize what a huge mistake this was. There's nothing we can do about it right now except write letters and complain. There's nothing out there that we don't have an avenue that we can take to reverse this decision. So. We're going to have to live with it. We're going to have to see what happens in the next few years. And, you know, nobody wants to come to a podium and say, I told you so. But it's going to happen. We're going to be back here. We're going to be back in Albany. We're going to be telling them, I told you so. This happened. Look at what's happening in our towns and cities now. It's only going to get worse.
Okay. And I know Pam and Phil echo the same sentiments that you have from
exactly
their comments.
Yes. I haven't spoke to any of my colleagues that are in favor of this yet, but I've spoke to some from across the aisle, so it's disheartening.
And we got a problem down there with the sewer plant down in Willard. And when they called me yesterday afternoon after the press called Mitch and I said to them, you know, it's a sad day here because we got this sewer project going on at Willard where we've been waiting for over a year for your commitment to fund the plant or how much you were going to fund. I said, well, while you're at it, we got to do the same thing over at 5 Points. You've been haven't been giving us any information. So I said, look into that, because they're all quiet voices on the phone telling us what's going on. And I said, get back to me right away. So I said, I'll call you in a couple days. So he called me today. His name is Daniel F. Martusello. Is that his name? He's the second in command for corrections. And he said he's going to honor our commitment or their commitment to fund the bond funding for the sewer plant. And he said his word is good, so we don't have to worry about funding the Willard. They'll pay their fair share, like 54% up front, I would imagine.
Well, that's good news. That's good news.
Also said, you know, we got to take care of 5 Points too, so we'd like to get that done all at the same time so we can get moving ahead. So anyway, we'll see how good his word is. I think his word is good. And he's going to honor the commitment. So
I'd certainly like to see word from his office that would strengthen the support for our COs in all these facilities also, because our COs have lost total control in these facilities and they're not getting any support from anybody. All they want to do is take away, and it's just to the point now where how are we going to recruit people for these jobs? How's that going to happen? I think when their lives are on the line every minute of every day. So I hope we can put some pressure on and reverse the course that is currently taking place in our state.
And I do think we'll have a resolution available for debate under new business, right?
We do.
So
thank you.
Wait till that happens under new business then. But thank you for the update. Any questions for Jeff? Okay. So that's my remarks. County manager's remarks.
I don't have anything tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. County attorney's remarks.
Just to follow up with the report on the 414 sewer line, assuming that we pass through, the IDA has signed the documents for the transfer. It's ready to proceed as soon as the board deals with it.
Is Seneca Falls going to sign it?
They will at some point in the future if they get.
No, we're not. We're cutting it off. There's going to be no more sewer coming from 318 down 414.
We'll put that in the garbage can.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
No, thank you.
Okay. Communications.
Communications 116 through 125 will be received and filed.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Next up, resolutions and motions. And first up is Finance Assessment Insurance Supervisor Reynolds, number 14.
Board of Supervisors authorizes amendments to the 2021 Seneca County budget.
Support.
A second there. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Keep going. Thank you. Next up, Mental Health Services, number 15, Supervisor Enlow.
You got 14 or we're not?
I don't know.
15.
15.
Okay. Mental health contract amendment for peer support specialist services.
Support.
Get a second there. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Supervisor Enslow. Next up, Public Works, Supervisor Trout, number 16.
Authorize snow and ice agreement with Town of Fayette.
Second.
There, any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 17.
Supervisors authorize supplemental agreement and adjustment to estimated expenditure for snow and ice 2021-2022.
Support.
Second.
There, any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 18.
Board of Supervisors authorizes acquisition of Route 414 sewer conveyance line from the Seneca County Industrial Development Agency.
Support.
Second there. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 19.
Board of Supervisors authorizes allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for Phase 1 repairs to the Route 414 sewer conveyance line.
Support.
Second there. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Supervisor Trout. Next up, Supervisor Burnell, Public Safety, number 20.
Board of Supervisors authorizes applying for a hazard mitigation planning grant.
Support.
Got a second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 21.
County receives a statewide interruptible communication grant contract with the New York State Division of Homeland Security Service and Finance Director aimed at 2021 Seneca County budget.
Support.
We got a second? Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 22.
Board of Supervisors approves accepting the 2021 Emergency Management Performance Grant.
Support.
A second there. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Board of Supervisors approves lease with the New York State Police for the use of the Seneca County Fire Training Center.
Support.
A second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Supervisor Burnell. Next up is Water Sewer Treatment, Maintenance and Operations, Supervisor Borst.
Board of Supervisors declares that upgrades to Seneca County Sewer District Number 1 plant and infrastructure by Seneca County will not have an adverse impact on the environment.
Support. Second on that. Any discussion? Any comment from the attorney on that? No? Okay, that's good. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 25.
Board of Supervisors declares that upgrades to Seneca County Sewer District Number 2 plant and infrastructure by Seneca County will not have an adverse impact on the environment.
Support.
We got a second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 26.
2021 Water Infrastructure Improvement Act Resolution regarding Seneca County, New York Sewer District Number 1 improvements.
Support. Got support there. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have discussion. So any of this where we have to spend money before we get, I know you spoke to second in command at the state. Can we not just put these on hold until we get a written agreement that they are gonna do their part? I don't trust them, quite honestly. I think it needs to be written.
You don't trust the government?
I don't think we should vote on it. I don't think, no, I really don't.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Did they indicate when they may supply you with a written notice of secured funding?
It should be forthcoming very soon.
No, I think that.
Then he said but it would have to be approved by a couple other departments there too.
Yeah.
That's a little wiggle room.
So I'll make a motion that we hold off on this. What's the number? 26 and 27 until we have documentation from the state that they are gonna participate in the cost?
I can only tell you, and you might want to check that out, Mitch probably can answer the question better. It's going to probably jeopardize your WIA application. It's deadline for November 22nd type of thing. And so you could possibly jeopardize that funding, which is about 25% of the cost, until the following year.
Is that correct, County Attorney? Can they not proceed with the funding?
We can't submit a, we can't, Mitch is more familiar with it, but the basic answer is Supervisor Farrar is correct. If we don't meet the timeline, we don't get our application in, we move over to next year.
Okay, but even if we put the application in, so we have to spend this money to put the application in?
What you are doing, you are authorizing possible expenditures. You're not authorizing $8.78 million.
Okay.
I mean, it authorizes the county manager to execute the grant agreement for the New York State and to fulfill the, under the WIA grant. That's all part of this. And while there is some money expended, you're certainly not going to be spending the.
Okay, then I'll withdraw that. Okay.
Is Peter Baker here tonight, Mitch?
No, I believe he's watching.
Oh, he's watching, okay.
Okay.
I'll be in touch with him tomorrow.
So in light of that, I'll withdraw that.
Okay,
Okay.
so this is on resolution of 26th.
Yep.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 27.
2021 Water Infrastructure Improvement Act Resolution regarding Seneca County, New York, Sewer District Number 2 improvements.
Support. Got a second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next up is Personnel Supervisor Farrar, number 28.
Board of Supervisors approves the creation and filling of 4 mental health clinical therapists.
Support. Second there. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 29.
Board of Supervisors approves the creation and filling of 4 mental health peer advocates.
Support. Second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 30.
Just for the record, for everybody to know this, I know the supervisors know this, but these are all positions paid for through a grant program, so they're not additions to our budget. Board of Supervisors approves the creation and filling of 1 mental health program director.
Support. The second on that?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. 31.
Board of Supervisors approves the creation and filling of 1 senior caseworker.
Support. Second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. 32.
Board of Supervisors approves the creation and filling of 1 social welfare examiner.
Support. Second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Number 33.
Board of Supervisors approves, Board of Supervisors authorize the creation and filling of 1 position for fraud investigator.
Support.
Second on that. Okay. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 34.
Board of Supervisors approve the elimination of 1 employment and training assistant and the creation and filling of 1 employment and training counselor.
Support. Second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 35.
The Board of Supervisors approves the creation and filling of 1 full-time director of preventive health services.
Support. Yes, second on that. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Supervisor Farrar.
Thank you.
Next up, Public Health Services, number 36, Supervisor Borst.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. County manager authorized and directed to sign a contract with the New York State Department of Health for the Children and Youth with Special Health Care Needs Administration Grant.
Support.
Second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 37.
County manager authorized and directed to sign a contract with the New York State Department of Health for the New York State Public Health Corps PHC Fellowship Program.
Support. Yes, second there. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 38.
Board of Supervisors approves agreement with the S2AY Rural Health Network for the New York State Public Health Corps Fellowship Program.
Support. Okay, we got a second there. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Supervisor Boers. Next up, Supervisor Barnhart, Planning, Development, Agriculture, and Tourism, number 39.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Reappoint members to the Finger Lakes Regional Airport Advisory Committee.
Support. Got a second there. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 40.
Board of Supervisors authorizes Seneca County gain loan to Miranda LLC.
Support.
Second there. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, number 41.
Board of Supervisors authorize the chairman of the board to sign memorandum of understanding with Seneca County towns and villages regarding items to not be sent to the Seneca County Planning Board.
Support. Got a second there.
Yeah, it said not.
Something wrong there.
What you got, Margaret?
I'm remembering the Seneca County items to be sent.
Well, I have it on, I have not to be sent here, I have to be sent here. Is the cheat sheet right?
No, I can go back.
Which sheet are you using?
There's actually it's the resolution. Your whereas clause.
Okay,
is not- Title says two.
I'll reread it if you like.
Well, there's a mistake. Someone's got to clear it up.
Are we sending it or not
Is
sending
it supposed to be not, or is it not supposed to be?
Title says to be sent, and the first whereas says not to be sent. So the issue is the resolution itself is incorrect.
Okay.
Yes, that's the way I'm reading it.
Could somebody resolve this over my head here? Which,
Joe?
Jill, yeah. Come on up. To sent or not to send?
It's actually, it could probably go either way. It's basically the memorandum of understanding will declare basically what things should be sent to the board, planning board, and what things don't have to be sent to the
Just for
planning board.
when I read
So
the
you were right either
resolution.
way, Kyle.
So either way, you're right.
I'd like to hear that, Jim. Thanks.
Write it or change it. The title has it one way and your first whereas has it another way. So
Then-
you have them both ways here, but I think it'd be better to pick one or the other.
Then we will say what should be sent to the planning board,
Okay, items to be forwarded.
to the planning
So
board.
we'll amend the resolution.
So that's a typo in the resolution then.
It's a typo, we don't have to amend anything.
Great.
Regarding what items are to be forwarded.
Yes.
That. And also, I have another question, if you don't mind, Mr.
I'll
Chairman.
let you have one more question.
The third whereas talks about an attached memorandum of understanding. I don't have that to be.
You don't have the you don't have the memorandum?
No, and I don't have it.
Okay, well, there is one that has been approved by the planning board and is going to be sent around to all the different communities for their,
On it to, because when you have it attached in the tax, it's going to, I'm going to include that entire memorandum of understanding in the resolution. Is that how you want me to do it?
yes,
Okay.
Thank you.
Good to go.
I'll get with you later.
okay.
You got a motion in a second.
Kyle, you're all set now on that. We all understand it? Okay?
Yep, we just need a vote.
Now you got to second it.
You got a second right here.
Well, we did. Did you second the right one or the wrong one?
Both of them.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong, according to
All
Mr.
of
Leader.
Okay, any discussion now? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'm sorry.
Next up, number 42.
Dum, dum, dum.
I'll be right back. Board amends policy for annual appropriation of the Tourism Promotion Agency. Somebody second it so we can talk about it.
Okay.
Got a second on it? Any discussion?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of
Haven't had
discussion on this
discussion
one.
all night. Why start now?
Well, I mean, you had a whole board of presenters and everybody else, and they stuck around. Look, Bob, they're still here.
Okay, who wants to speak first?
I'll go first. I had a lot of people from the TPA call me. Bruce Murray had made mention of this specific 75-25 at the IDA meeting. And basically, his sentiment is going to be reiterated amongst the other 10 people I talked to. They feel like they're being penalized for doing a good job. After talking to him and a couple other people about what the IDA would possibly, or not the IDA, the chamber and the TPA might need that much money for, digital marketing is what they keep coming up with. Me personally, I do a lot of digital marketing in my business. I don't do anything through paper anymore. Everything you spend in digital space comes back to you, whether depending on how good you do, but we do pretty well with it through Google and Facebook ads and different things like that. And basically, the more money you spend, the more people you attract. And there's no other way to put it other than that. So what they want to do with more money is just put it more into the digital space. It's not about hiring more people. Now, I know that some people have an issue with certain real estate that was bought and everything else, but at the same time, I've been assured that this will go into more digital marketing and therefore will definitely bring more people into Seneca County as a whole. There's no doubt about that. That will definitely happen. If you spend more, you will get more people coming and going. In the spirit of still taking money away from them, I would offer an amendment to the resolution for 85-15% split. Now, I'm sure some other people have some different numbers to offer, so I went first. Let's hear what everybody else has to say.
Is that a motion or is that not a motion?
That is an amendment.
I will second that amendment.
You're going to second
We
that
have
amendment.
further discussion?
If I may.
Now we're going to have this.
Limited to discussion on the amendment.
So
I
it's
am. We're on the
85-15
amendment.
and
We're
we
on
have
the
to vote?
amendment right now.
That's what we can discuss.
Got to vote on the amendment first, but we can discuss.
You better, Margaret, you better get the billboard out for this one.
Mr. Chairman.
The billboard, right?
Digital.
The digital bill.
It's funded.
Kyle, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
How much
I just
money
want-
do you need? How much money do you need?
No, I'm in support of Don's amendment, and I'll explain why. I'd like to ask this board to take the rational approach, which is just to fund what's best for tourism and do the math. I think the TPA has improved drastically. They've sort of taken us from the analog age with the paper brochures into the digital age, which works because we have to market in areas outside of the Thruway and Petro. Those digital marketing efforts have been excellent, and the metrics have proven it, as we've heard for multiple years. And digital marketing is very important, but it's also important to diversify. And so, agreeing with Don and the 85%, I'd propose to use the room tax money that the county retains for 4 areas. Bruce Murray mentioned host compliance, which is basically our enforcement mechanism to continue growing our room tax. That costs about $20,000 a year, and that should come out of the room tax funds. We've been operating a tourism grant program in the county that started last year. We funded it to the effect of $40,000, and we got, I think, $5,000 to $7,000 in applications. So we should continue that. However, certainly bank it back a little bit, reduce the amount that we're spending there. I'm proposing $10,000 or even zero this year, just to let the 40 continue to work through. We have 2 other proposals, one from the Three Bears. They've requested $70,000 for sort of boots on the ground tourism operations in the South County, where we have a ton of agritourism, so I think that makes sense. I'm not completely comfortable with $70,000. I think that's a pretty high ask for a first year, but I think we should consider something. But most importantly to me, I'd like to fund the Seneca Lake watershed and the Cayuga Lake watersheds. They ask for dues from every single municipality here, each of us as town supervisors. They also ask from the villages in the county. And frankly, every municipality does not pay their share. So they are underfunded. The watershed managers cannot do the job that they're asked to do. And I think you all know that the lakes drive our tourism. To fund both watershed organizations for our share, including the county share, the town share, and the village share, would be about $35,000 this year, which frankly is a drop in the bucket for the effect that they would have.
5 each watershed?
No, 35 altogether. It's just over 20 for the Seneca Lake watershed, and it's about 16 or 17 for Cayuga Lake. Cayuga Lake's offering 50% off of the dues this year. It'll go up to 75% next year, and it'll go up to 100% the following year. So in the end, 2 years from now, It'll be about 35 for each watershed. But right now,
County already has $10,000 set aside for each.
5 and 5, yep, for each. And then this would cover every single town and village in the county. And the reason that I think that's important to do is because every town and village doesn't participate. My town hasn't participated in the past. The village within my town hasn't. So it's a little bit tough for them to get funded correctly and do the job that they're supposed to do when we're playing patchwork. So $35,000 to fund both watersheds for a watershed manager to apply for grants and look out for the environmental impacts of what we've got going on I think that's a no-brainer, and that should be next in line behind the host compliance. You want to debate?
You don't need to do that in Seneca. It's part of our 2022 budget.
Trying to save you a little money, Mike. I know you guys are tight these days.
Well, I'm okay. Go ahead, Kyle. Thanks.
I got one laugh. I'll take that. All right.
I've already submitted it too.
So between
we only got about 85,000 to spend, and you're already spending 35,000.
No, that's it. That's it right there. This comes to about 85, all of the things that I just listed, including banking back the grant program that I fought so hard for last year to zero, puts us at about 90,000. So a 15% keep for the county, given the chamber 85%, that's about $85,000.
That's a guess.
I mean, it's the math.
Yeah, but we don't know what next year will bring.
We're working off of the numbers that were provided to us, the base amount of $556,000. Right? That's where the room.
In your thing, how much are you proposing for the Three Bears?
With that proposal at 90,000, that would be half of the Three Bears ask at 35,000.
And then in your proposal, host compliance, does that come off the top?
20,000.
Comes off the top before we do anything.
The 4 things that I put together all come out of the full county pot. There's no ranking here, but
we have to pay the whole 100% of the host compliance?
The room tax money pays for the host compliance, yes.
Our share. You don't think the chamber share should pay it? I think it should.
It's worth debate, but.
Well, I think it should come off the top. One should come off the top. Would you like to comment on that, Bruce?
Probably not my place. It's not my place here to comment on that.
Okay, you don't want to comment, okay. But you did say it in your report, you thought it was important to get it.
I think it's absolutely important to be able to enforce a tax effectively, and I don't know of any way to enforce that tax any better than that particular service. Maybe an equivalent service, but I've looked closely enough at that one. That is an absolute must.
Okay, it's done a good job, I guess. $288,000.
Sure has.
Mm-hmm. I do think in your comment there, that should come off the top first.
Yeah, but if the county pays for that, then we should get that.
It also grows the county share, proportionally. It does.
I think if the county foots the full bill, the county should get the full price of what they bring back. So I'm going to speak. I think that, I don't think that it should be 85-15. I'm totally about 75%. Am I willing to compromise a little bit more? Possibly. But let me tell you something. Number one, I want to thank Assemblyman Gallahan for getting that bill passed and that the governor actually signed it. So TPA money now can be used for many more things. Many more things that this county has needed for many, many years. We can spend it on roads, infrastructure, broadband. We all know down at the south end when you're down there driving around, you don't get cell reception. We've heard from 911. They don't get good services down there for emergency calls. But yet you're willing to go from 90 to 85. And what entity, I ask you, the rest of this board, what entity gets an increase of $200,000? Who gets that? My question is every department here that's important, and I'll just take off the top of my head, soil and water cooperative extension. Soil and water is pretty damn important. They go out, they help the farmers, they have to teach them how to mitigate, how to keep runoff from going down into the lakes, which both lakes, let me remind you, supply us and other villages and towns our drinking water. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and fight the fact that digital, whatever, marketing is the way to go, but $200,000, you're gonna just give them that. That's just not right. That's not right. That's not right when we say to our department heads, this is your budget. We want you to stick with this budget. We know that your work is important, but this is all you're getting. And not for anything, I've sat on this board for many years, and I won't go here with name calling, but I get a sense every time we want to change something, that we get people come up, we get department heads that come up, and also kind of makes me feel like they are entitled. So, let me just tell you what entitlement means in the dictionary. The right of having something. The belief that it is inherently deserving of privileges or special treatments. And for 20 years, they were ignored at the Three Bears. I know they were. And the chamber gave them a computer. Hate to go there, it was probably a computer that they didn't use anymore. And we're sitting here talking about not giving them what they asked for at the South End. Kyle, you're a South End freaking supervisor.
Totally right.
I'm not willing for 85-15. I'd like it at 75. People run within budgets. And you know, not for anything, why did we have good years 2020 and 2021? Because of COVID, probably. And you know why? Because people from the city wanted to leave the city. And they wanted to come up here in the country. And then once they got here, because they were all afraid of going out in the big cities, they found out what we were like. I'm sure some of that had to do with the marketing, but a lot of it had to do with COVID. And people coming here and finding out, geez, it's pretty nice up there. Wow, they got lakes, they got wineries, cheese places. And my last statement is, the governor, thank God she signed the bill today, or whenever, and now she's gonna sign in and give a lot of grants for people with tourism businesses. We just gave one to Tom Murray. There's gonna be many more of them coming down the pike from what she signed today. They're gonna have opportunities to grow. So I think you should be really mindful of the extra money and where you wanna put it. And I think if you don't wanna do a 3-year, do a 1-year. I'll agree to that. Let's see how devastating they are out of a year's operation if they don't get their 90% or their 85%. You guys don't even give it a chance. You don't even give it a chance.
Okay, Kyle.
Thank you. I mean, I think it's easy to get frustrated by the lack of resources that we have. And coming from the South County, we see it more than ever. My folks don't have public water. I can go on and on for days. We're in a position right now, I'm a little uncomfortable taking too much and not putting the money into the market, which would be put into digital advertising, which directly brings people here and directly drives sales tax and Airbnb.
Hold on, okay,
Cindy, no, please. Can you give me a moment, please?
No, just why do you feel uncomfortable though? That's my question.
I'm trying to explain it if you'll give me just a moment.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable taking the money away from direct programming, which would be the marketing that we're going into, because while infrastructure is important, there is about to be more money out there for infrastructure than anybody's ever seen. This year, the DEC, which controls our water and wastewater infrastructure and capital projects, their state budget was $1.8 million, or excuse me, $1.8 billion. This year it'll be $8 billion because $6 billion is being put into water and wastewater infrastructure. So for us to put pennies away in a bank account when the state's offering $6 billion in infrastructure, I think it's sort of silly for us to do that. On the other hand, Congress has just passed a multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure bill, and again, we have the opportunity to dip into those things for infrastructure. So while I'm grateful for Mr. Gallahan and the bill that he pushed, and for the governor for signing it, we have other opportunities for infrastructure that we don't need to fund with the room tax.
To refute that.
I want this board to focus on the actual programming. If we're gonna retain money, we need to spend it on something and not put it in a bank account. So let's spend it on host compliance, let's spend it on the Three Bears, let's spend it on the watersheds, and I'm already acquiescing to the grant program that I fought so hard for. So I'm already making a concession for this board to not take so much money.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to refute that. So the $6 billion that you say that the state's gonna come down with, we don't know we're gonna get any of that.
It's in the budget, it's in the state budget.
It's in the state budget, but guess what? Does upstate get everything? Never.
$6 billion for infrastructure grants and capital projects.
Guess where most of it will probably go? Downstate. So you can't sit there and say that we're guaranteed that. We're probably a little more guaranteed with the $1 trillion infrastructure. But for you to sit there and say that, Kyle, is wrong. We do not know what we will get up here in rural upstate New York.
I don't know how you can say that when I'm in the thick of trying to develop a water project in conjunction with the village, and we are on top of this. We speak about this every day. We are seeking out the grant funding. This is the healthiest, healthiest grant environment we've ever seen.
So does our town. And you know what? There's never a guarantee on grants. Never.
Of course not, but the money's out there, Cindy.
But there is money here, $200,000 extra that can be put other places here in this county.
So on the $200,000, you're looking off of COVID numbers where the taxes,
I'm just saying
the taxes had obviously dipped in the last year.
What entity gets extra 200 grand to play with?
In the last normal year that we had, the TPA got about $420,000. Under this 8515 proposal, they'd only go up to about $490. It's a 75% increase.
Shouldn't be at 8515. Shouldn't be. That's only
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
That's not much of a compromise.
Wait.
Just a couple of comments. I think we really shouldn't be, all due respect, Cindy, 200,000 in infrastructure wouldn't do anything. I have to agree with Kyle that we're going to have to utilize our grants and the federal money to do that. $200,000 for other projects certainly can be utilized. I want to remind people that there are 3 supervisors who aren't here tonight. There are 4 new supervisors coming on January 1st, okay? I would be strongly opposed to anything going down the drain or going out for 3 years. I think we need to make it a 1-year agreement. Kyle, as you said, I'm 100% in favor of the 90%. I think it's money well spent. I'd be in favor of a compromise as well. But I still think we need to remove the politics, remove the personalities, and I think we're all in agreement that tourism is a major focus of our county. There's absolutely no reason that the Seneca County Chamber of Commerce, the TPA, and Ovid and the 3 Bears can't sit down at a table and see how we can help each other. I'd be more than happy to facilitate that meeting, okay? It just doesn't make any sense to me that it's been going on. Apparently, one says one thing, somebody else says another thing. So let's get all the parties in the room. We allocated 10% of the money. My understanding, there's still 28,000 left of the 10%. So people aren't coming up asking for the grants. Mitch, I apologize, but there's no line item for the 3 Bear 70,000 request in the budget, correct?
That's correct.
Correct, okay. So we still haven't adopted a budget yet? There's an opportunity there to help fund 3 Bears and what they do in Ovid. I don't think anybody in this room thinks the south end of Seneca County is less important than the north end. Certainly, I can't speak for everyone, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So,
well, that's easier said than done because you're from the north end. And you know what? I have no stake in the game.
I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time in the south end.
Okay, except for 20 years they haven't been heard. Okay.
Okay.
They have not.
Okay.
And they're manned with volunteers. Volunteers, yet the chamber and Metro.
I want to fund them, Cindy. I'm agreeing with you.
Time people.
I agree with you. I want to fund them.
4 people at the.
I want to agree with it. I want to fund them.
So.
Okay, let's vote on the amendment.
What is the amendment?
85%.
And then you're gonna need another amendment to go a year, because it sounds like.
No, it's the proposal's for a year.
Is
It's for a year.
Okay.
It came out. I thought it came out of committee for 3 years, but it
Proposals for 1 year.
Yep, you're right.
How'd that get in there? You voted on 3 years.
We did.
I wasn't here.
We did vote 3 years.
Well, leave it alone. I like it.
No, we did. The issue was posed to me. Could it be 3 years?
Yeah.
I submitted to you that realistically that would not be easy to do, and that we would end up doing 1 year. We could do a contract that had annual extensions.
Options.
An option year for 2 extensions.
Right.
Instead of a direct 3-year contract.
And that's what we voted on.
That was what was proposed.
Is that in here? Is that? That just says the quarters. It's not written in there in the resolution as such.
Well, we can make an amendment to the amendment to the amendment.
No,
so.
it's an appointment, it's an appointment for 2022. That's what it is. It's 2022.
So we don't need
1 year.
There's no mention of a possible option on 23, 24.
And I've made, multiple suggestions that we fund the watershed support from the general fund, and I know it's an unpopular proposal, but I think it makes more sense because the watershed's more than tourism. It's recreation, it's drinking water, it's a number of things, but.
We've already voted to fund them.
To the full amount that I've proposed, the 35,000.
We've already, my town of Barrack, like Mike, we've already voted to fund the Cuga Lake, and we're gonna fund the Seneca Lake.
Well, maybe if you can drop that out of your budget, touch your wheeling charge down 5 cents, we'll be all good.
Why would we drop it out of our budget, though, if our town's cared enough to do that? We did the same thing, we're not gonna drop it out of our budget.
This is to encourage all municipalities to be part, to everybody pays their share, so that we fully fund the watersheds.
Well, let's figure out what the funding is going to be, and then we can figure out what was going to be used for.
That's another vote, another night to decide that. That just is they aren't part of the resolution anyway. Okay.
the amendment.
The amendment. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, I guess it passed.
In the opinion of the chair,
In the opinion of the chair,
the motion is passed.
the amendment is passed.
Not even the motion.
Now we can go back to debate, now that we have the amendment passed. Any more debate? Any more discussion?
I'm sorry, sir, the amendment, this is just 85%.
In 1 year.
1 year.
1 year's already in.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Third whereas, it says one annual operation. So
Correct.
we're really just doing the 85%?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion?
No, so my discussion is then, where are we gonna fund the Three Bears? Are they gonna get added into anything tonight? Or is that for when we have our budget meeting?
We have committee meetings coming up in 2 weeks. Something out of committee, we haven't adapted the budget yet.
You could rule 29 it tonight too. So everybody here will see who's gonna vote for it.
You might have a hard time with 3 people missing, but fine.
I mean,
The rule 29 just of the people here?
What I would like to see is a little bit of positiveness from Jeff Shipley saying, yes, we gotta work this out, and we do believe that the south end is important.
I think that they need
Help us
their
get
own
some
money.
Funding here.
Why would you think that? I think they need their own money budgeted to them now. I don't think you should leave it as an option with the chamber.
So I'm
It
happy.
hasn't worked in the past.
I feel the same way, but I think there needs to be something drawn up. Is this a 1 year contract with the Three Bears?
Yeah.
Is it a 2 year? Is it a 5 year? I mean, to give them X amount of dollars 1 year,
Okay.
then they may not know what is budgeted to them additionally.
Why don't they get 15% of tourism money then, every year? Or they take a piece of that tourism, 85%? Why can't they do that?
Well, that's a possibility too.
Yeah.
Down the
I mean,
road
that's-
here in a couple of weeks, on the next committee meetings.
Let's, folks.
Them forgotten about.
Three Bears is a wonderful operation, okay? It's an integral part of Seneca County. But you want to use that that philosophy. Why aren't we funding Seneca Falls Historical Society? Why aren't we funding Waterloo Memorial Museum? Why aren't we funding Seneca Falls Visitor Center? Those are all integral parts of our whole county.
These are county buildings too, Supervisor.
It is a county building, and we already support it, and we maintain it. We support it. We financially back it. Again, Cindy, I don't think anybody in the room is saying that we should try to help them, okay, move forward. But you gotta remember, Three Bears is not different than other places, historical places in our county.
I like Mike's idea. He's going to set up a meeting with Jeff Shipley and Three Bears and try to work something.
Well, maybe not even Jeff Shipley, I don't know, but somebody from Seneca County Tourism and from the county committee on tourism.
Get a plan moving forward.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If we can get the watershed money into the general fund, into the budget, we can fully fund the Three Bears request from the 15% that the county retains.
What do we gotta take the county money to cover every town and village for the Save the Lakes.
I can say, as far as Ovid, we don't have the money to give to them. If you want to come look at our budget and see where you can come up with the money they want, we don't have it. We don't have dump money. We don't have throughway money. We don't have casino money.
Landfill.
Landfill money. We have taxpayer money, and we've cut our recreation. We have no recreation for our kids. We can barely give to the library. We don't have money to give to the lakes. I wish we did, but we don't down in the south.
You guys do though, because you have all this money that's coming in from tourism. So just remember that.
The point is to
Okay?
ensure full participation from all municipalities so the watersheds are fully funded. But the point that I'm making is, if you can find $35,000 in the $70 million budget, we can fully fund the Three Bears request to improve tourism in the South County as part of the tourism fund. We're not doing, but we're off topic right now, but I'm happy to offer $35,000 in the general fund for watersheds.
I'm sorry, you're in the middle of.
Yeah.
You can't make a motion right now anyway.
Cindy, I'll happily support you when we're doing budget.
Okay, any more debate or discussion? Okay, all those in favor of this resolution at 85% for 1 year, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay, one nay. The opinion of the chair says it passes. Okay. Next up, thank you, Mr. Barnhart. Next up, Human Services Supervisor McGreevy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Number 43, Board of Supervisors to approve Seneca County Division of Human Services contractual agreement with Cayuga Centers for Multi-Systemic Therapy, MST.
Support.
Okay, got a second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Human Services, number 44.
Number 44, Seneca County Board of Supervisors proclaims November 2021 Adoption Month in Seneca County.
Support. Second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, unfinished business. We're gonna do this resolution?
We are still not cleared for tax foreclosure.
Next year.
I was making a joke about it, so we aren't gonna do it again.
We never know with you and Supervisor Ferrara, I'm sorry.
Well, I just asked the question seriously, so we aren't gonna do this tonight. Postpone. Okay. New business. Rule 29, motion necessary to consider the following suggest resolutions.
Make a motion for Rule 29 to cover all business that comes before the board underneath Rule 29 tonight.
Support.
Second? Anybody second that?
Support.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. So now where are we at? On the A1, mental health services?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to accept the New York State Office of Addiction Services and Support, OASAS, Prevention Services Grant.
Support. A second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next up, public safety.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Authorize the request for proposal for the paramedics, sort of pharmaceuticals, and the related other over-the-county medication for the Seneca County Sheriff's Correctional Division for 2022.
Support.
A second on that. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Next.
Got a new one there.
Okay, we got a new one here.
For Willard.
For Willard. You want me to make the motion then? I guess I can do that. Connecticut County Board of Supervisors to oppose Governor Hochul's closure plan on public safety, economic, and environmental grounds.
Support.
I'll have it in front of you now, I think. You got a second from who with it?
Thank you, sir.
John, okay. Any discussion? You want to read it over first, or?
I think it's pretty straight to the point, huh?
I think the heading covers it.
Okay, that's good. So, any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, good. Jeff, you like that? Yes, I do. Okay, good. Take and run with it. Do a backflip for you if I could. Okay, we need to, what? So we're all caught up now, right, Mitch? We're going to executive, motion to go into executive session?
I can read it. Under Open Meetings Law 105, 1F, discussion leading to the employment history of a particular person or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person.
Yep. Got a second?
Second.
Okay, got a second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. And we have to take some action after the.
There's always going to be action, right?
Yeah. We are, all those in favor say aye. We're now in executive session.
Aye.